Did I get upset the first day when I saw it like this? Yep. And the second day and the third day, and then I said, okay, I got to take action. Welcome to Garden Sanity. I'm Laura, and I garden in Zone 7, Southern New Jersey. And today's video is about this. My Limelight Hydrangea Tree, my beloved Limelight Hydrangea Tree. As I'll show you in a minute more close up, it doesn't look great right now. It's the beginning of September, and yes, we had a really brutal summer. It was super hot. We had a lot of extreme heat. It was super humid. We had more rain than usual. However, there are a lot of Limelight Hydrangea trees doing just fine, so I'm not blaming it on any of that. But I did try to figure out what was going on with it, because it seemed like that we had hot weather all summer. It never really let up. And then about a week or two ago, all of a sudden the temperature dropped and we had more weather temperatures that were suitable for mid to end of August. So more in the 70s into low 80s, which was more normal, used to be normal. And when that happened, the tree suddenly started getting a lot of yellow leaves. Started not only getting yellow leaves, but those leaves then just got crinkled up brown and started falling off the tree. Also, the leaves looked a brighter green, and brighter green meaning they didn't look as healthy as they could have. And my theory, and again, it's a theory, is that the rain leached out. Because there was so much rain, it just leached all the good fertilizer and good things out of the soil over time. It just drenched the soil and there was nothing left nutrition-wise for the tree. Even though all the other plants in this bed, they look just fine. So what I did was I came in and as a first step, is I moved all the mulch away and I put iron tone down with a little bit of holly tone. And that was to green up the leaves slowly, because iron tone works a lot slower than some of the other iron products that are out there that kind of do it real quick within a few days. And I mixed in some holly tone because I figured that it needed a little bit more nutrition, more food for the plant. So again, that's just what I decided to do, because I looked up online and everything that I read about when your Limelight Hydrangea Tree has yellow leaves, it was things like this. If it's yellow but has some brown spots, it could be lacking sulfur. But if it's yellow and brown tips, it might be nitrogen. But if it's yellow and... I said, forget it. I cannot analyze leaf by leaf, even though all the leaves could probably resemble each one of those examples. So what I'm going to be doing today is an emergency pruning. And that is a pruning you're going to do any other time than your regular springtime pruning. And again, there are people that prune in the fall. I prefer springtime. I have a whole video on pruning in the springtime. One of my very first videos on this channel 4 years ago was an emergency pruning on this very tree after a tropical storm basically cut it right in half. It just took the top half of the tree off. It was top heavy, it came down, it was awful, and I had to do an emergency pruning just to get rid of all the stuff that broke, and then just kind of make it look a little bit more respectable, as I like to say. Now here we are, 4 years later, and for some reason it's not looking great right now. So I'm going to do an emergency pruning to try to clean it up, try to improve the situation a little bit better, and then we'll see how it does. I don't think the tree's in danger. I don't think it's going to die. But I also don't know really what happened. Let me show you how bad it looks. This will be fun. So right off the bat, this is the tree more close up. And you can see all the brown leaves? These were all yellow leaves, and they just crinkled up. And where did they land? In the garden bed. So they're all in this boxwood. They're all around the ground. And as you can see also, like I mentioned, all the other plants in here and shrubs, you've got some little quick fires there, look fantastic. So I don't know what happened, but I'm going to fix it. So you have some of the hydrangea flowers are browning, and some of that is expected from all the heat we had, so I'm not that terribly alarmed by it. What I am alarmed though, however, is, for example, where you have, let's look at this branch, for example. So let's follow it back to here. Let me point with my hand. So this branch right here, okay? And let's follow it all the way up where I'm holding, and now you see all these brown leaves, and then this is just a completely brown head. So my impression is that this stem may have died. Not sure. However, what I think I'm going to do today, in fact, what I know I'm going to do today, let me go around this way so you can get a better idea of this. And by the way, you see the back there, you see all that brown? Those are river birch limbs that we let dry, and now we're going to put them in our little portable wood chipper. So that's what that is that you see there. But let's go back to the tree here. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take out this stem, this stem, this stem. I'm basically going to take out the lower part of this tree. Let me step back so you can see this better. All right, so this is the tree again. And what I'm going to end up doing is taking this, a lot of this bottom stuff, and what I'm going to be left with is more these stems that jut out more straight to the top. I'm going to take some of this, not necessarily older branches, but they are jutting out from an older base, but I'm just taking them off because a lot of these are the ones that seem like they have just stems that just died off. Now, what I did read, and this could be the case, is that with large shrubs, and let's just talk about this particular Limelight Hydrangea tree, for example. See how crinkled up all that is? What can happen is if water somehow is scarce, or it's, got to decide where its water is going to go, sometimes it's not going to feed the little stems as well as the bigger stems. The bigger stems are just going to outcompete the little stems. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I read. That was, I would assume, an opinion. Now, the leaves have gotten better. Let's look at this guy right here. So see, these leaves are now nice and green, which is great. These are newer leaves that came out. So your yellow leaves, when you have them, they aren't going to turn, like, they're just not going to turn back to green. But you will get newer leaves that will, if they weren't on the verge of getting yellow yet, they will turn back to green. But if you've got yellow leaves, they're just going to be on their way to turning brown and falling off the tree. Like this guy too. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. Now, by taking this lower stem, for example, off, and taking some of these lower ones off, I am going to make the tree look very different. I mean, again, you see how beautiful and full it is. But we have a chance of getting a lot more storms this fall. I mean, we're in the midst of hurricane season, as they say. And this area, we've already gotten several tropical storms over the past few years. We've had 2 hurricanes since we moved here, including Superstorm Sandy. So we just don't want to take a chance that these are going to probably break off anyway, because after the recent storms we did have, this section right here that you see that's so pretty, it was hanging way down low. It nicely bounces back when it dries out, but I think it's time for these to go. So let me set up the tripod and I'll show you exactly what I'm cutting off, and then we can see what it looks like afterwards. So the best thing to use for this are long-handled loppers. These are a shorter handled lopper that I wish Gardener Supply still made. They don't make it anymore. I don't know why, otherwise I would tell you to buy one of these. But if you can ever find a lighter weight, shorter handled lopper that has almost the same size as the long-handled loppers, go for it. So first I'm going to take this edge off. And this is just, I say the edge, what I meant was these outer stems of this limb. And that's just going to help me see better of what I need to do and how I need to get in here. Now in this case, the other thing I'm not doing is I'm not pruning back to a certain node where there might be new buds. I just want to take this whole stem off right now. I just want to start fresh. So hopefully the goal is that next spring, new buds will come out and hopefully we'll have new growth that's not going to have this happen. All right, so this, I'm going to use some arm strength here. There we go. All right, so that's that. And then I'm going to get in here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come out here and take some of this first, just so that the limb isn't so heavy for me when it comes time to take the larger limb off. And yeah, of course, I can cut these off, dry them, use them indoors, which I will do. But for now, it's about getting this off. So let's take this off as well. Yeah, look at this. This is all, you see this? This is all just brown and gross. All right, so we take this off, and then I'm gonna go all the way back. Let's see, let me get in here. There we go, nice clean cut. And then I've got this guy here that obviously is dead. Now, what I'm also noticing while I'm here is I'm noticing some branches back here that are also dead, and I'll move the camera so you can see those better. But for now, like I said, step one is taking this front stuff off. Yeah, do you see how all of that just is brown? You know, every year around the beginning of September, I do always have yellow leaves. And I'll show you some of that in some footage now to just show you in previous videos from previous years. I've shown you, yeah, I've had some yellow leaves on here, but it's never been what happened here. And it's never been where the leaves, and not only do they turn brown, but some of the stems actually just seem to die. Now, truth be told, I had wanted to actually take some of this lower stuff off in the spring, and I didn't do it. I decided to keep it for another season because I really liked how full the tree looked. It's time for it to come off, and we start fresh. Now I'm going to put on the screen how old the tree is. I think we planted it in 2013, but I'm not exactly 100% sure, so that's why I'm putting it on the screen for you. And remember, whenever you buy a plant, you don't measure how old it is from the time it comes in your garden. You can measure, like, okay, I planted this in 2012 or whenever you plant something. But in terms of how old it is, you know, we bought this, it was probably about a 5-foot tree at the time, maybe 6. It had to have been maybe 4 or 5 years old at least. So this is an older tree, and which doesn't mean anything. It just means that this tree's been with us for a long time, and I want it to continue to be with us for a long time. All right, now, almost done with this part. All right, now we have this that is actually looking beautiful. This seems okay. I'm going to leave that stem, and I'll show you when it comes time to show you close up. This seems like a healthy stem and a newer stem that I'm going to keep. I'm not going to take anything off lower than that. This guy, I'm just not sure about. I kind of feel like I want to take him down a little bit more. But there is, you know, it is still a live stem. This guy has to be next. Yeah, this guy has some dead on it, some not so dead, but we're gonna take this off, okay? All right. Yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame. But that's the thing, when you're deciding that you want to do an emergency pruning, not that you have to be ruthless, but you can't sit here deciding, well, that flower looks nice, but that flower doesn't. It'll drive you crazy. So this, again, is a very solid stem. It's a very healthy stem. So in this case, I'm going to prune it back to just above a set of buds. And I think I will prune it back to right here. There we go. Now this guy will need to come off, and this guy. All right, let's see here. Got a little skinny guy here. And then this guy, let's see if I can get around this. There we go. Get in there a little bit. Wow, what did I just do? There we go. Yeah, see this branch, let me show you. This branch that I said was dead, it is dead. Let me come around to make sure you can see this. All right, so you see this? That's how it broke off. So the whole branch was dead. All right, I moved you a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing here. And this is what I was talking about, is I feel like some of these branches, while they aren't that old, you know, they didn't have anything on them. This branch, I didn't take anything off of it. It just doesn't have anything on it, period. So I'm gonna cut this one back to here. And let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that's dead. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Better to cut them off now than let the tropical storms of Mother Nature take them off. That was nice. So here again, you see the brown leaves, the whole thing, and the bottom had some green. So where I cut it, yeah, there's some green there. So hopefully new stem will come out. And let's see, also there's one in the back here. There we go. And this guy also had a few stems, but not much. All right, that's some kind of pine needle. This also is a stem I had left in the spring, but nothing came off of it. This guy, we're gonna leave him, but I'm gonna take off two of the dead things. All right. And this guy, which is probably a little hard for you to see, but I'm gonna take off. I left a stem, but I took off a smaller side shoot that just had a few things on it. And that's what I'm going to do. Let me put the camera up a little bit so you can see this a little better. So this stem right here is nothing but brown leaves. And you know, that's what I always say about getting in here and really taking a close look at your tree, because you could just come in and say, oh, the whole tree looks horrible. It doesn't. Take your time and really look and see what it's doing. So this stem is going to come off, whereas this branch, for the most part, I'm keeping. I'll just take a few things off. So this guy, unfortunately, comes off. And again, I have a little bit of a brown at the end, so, and then this guy never grew anything either, which is a shame. And then this guy, I'm going to take this side stem off, and we'll take him off and toss him. That's dead. This spindly guy's dead. I'm going to leave him, take this side guy off. Yeah, I may cut him back. I think I'm going to cut him back. And I'll tell you why, because I'm seeing some brown leaves back here. See some green here. I think I'm going to cut him back to right here. And then this guy, we're going to keep this guy. And this, that can come off. All right, so looking back here, and I'm not seeing anything else that's 100% dead, although I do see something over here. Okay, so let's move the camera again. All right, so this branch that you see right here, it's got a really nice limb at the end. that has some flowers on it. But this part is dead. So there's that. And this guy is dead. Let's just see what that leaves us. All right, then we've got a guy right here. Dead. But I'm telling you, the tree isn't dying. Okay. And then this guy. And I think I will leave this for now. I think that one I'll leave. How about this guy? He's got some green. He's got some green. There's a kind of a dead one. That's a spindly guy. All right, now let me come back around again. Okay, hopefully you can see this with all these shadows, but there's this stem that has some dead flowers on the end, so that comes out. Then there is this stem that is a lower stem, and I'm just taking that off. All right, so that comes off. Now this is the stem over here I said I might leave, but these are going to now come off. If you see, I show you over here. You stand here. So this stem, if you follow my orange glove, it was always kind of a funny stem because it grew out this way, and then it grew down, and then it grew out. So it was kind of fun because it found its way out to show off its blooms. But I'm actually going to take this off now too. So we'll take this half off first. Okay, and these branches did the same thing. So I know it seems harsh, but this is what I'm doing. I'm taking them all off. Now, let's do, let's see, that's dead. This is okay. I'm gonna do it to here. All right. Then we've got this guy right on my head. And again, you see, I stand in front of it here, so you can see it's just brown and dried. No fun. But this guy seems okay. This guy seems okay. Now this guy isn't going to rub against this limb anyway, so I would have probably had to do something about him in the spring because you don't want crossing branches, as I've taught you in my pruning video, which I'll link to at the end of this. I have a whole playlist on this tree. So despite the fact that what you're seeing now is an emergency pruning because things didn't work out so well this summer, I do know how to take care of it. So I do have some other videos, but I just want to also be completely transparent and show you, despite your best efforts, this could happen. Don't panic. Did I get upset the first day when I saw it like this? Yep. And the second day and the third day, and then I said, okay, I got to take action. And so once I put the iron tone around the bottom with the holly tone and watered it in really well, I did that about a week ago and decided I'll just, you know, I'm not going to overwater it. I'm not going to panic. And so now I'm going to trim this back and we'll see what we're left with. Now what you aren't able to see, you know what, let me take this off the tripod and show you. Okay, so for example here, I made a cut right there. That was initially the long stem that jutted out. And this is the stem that I now said could stay, and it won't cut into this guy that I also cut. Okay, so see now there's some nice space between there. But I want to also show you is as if I look up, like over here, you see this stem here? I'm going to have to reach up and prune that out because that's all. You follow the stem up each time and you just see what's on the end of it. And if all you see are brown leaves, that's part of the problem, just cut it off. If you see some beautiful flowers at the end, leave it. All right, so now I'm going to take off some of these stems that I told you just had brown leaves on them. So I'm going to take this part off, but I'm not going to take the rest of it because even though there's some brown leaves, there's some pretty flowers. Now this middle stem is really disappointing because this was a great solid stem and nothing survived on it, which is really a shame. So I will prune it above a set of where buds would be, just in case it comes back. It looks like it might have a little green on it. And then, yeah, this guy I think is dead. But again, just in case, I'm always going to prune. Yeah, he looks dead. I was going to say, I always am going to prune just above a bud so that it encourages more growth. I don't really want growth so much this season. I just want to know for next spring where buds can come out. That's where I want to make my cuts, is right above those. But this stem is definitely dead. So this part comes off and this part is going to be a little tough. Yep, that is completely dead. That's a shame. What about this guy? Yeah, he's dead. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's weird. It's like a lot of the newer branches that were only a couple years old died. I do not know why. That is really strange. Let's see, this guy, yep, he comes off. And then this guy comes off, and of course he sticks up there because I'm short. And then this guy, this has flowers, this is dead, little guy. This is a little guy, dead. Again, I'm short. This guy's dead. Would I tell you the tree's not dying? It's really not. It's just a lot of stuff died off for some reason. I'll take this guy off too. This guy off. This guy off. All right. And then this guy right here. Let's see. Oh, well, that's nice. I just took down a healthy flower. But this guy's what I wanted to get at. And this guy. This guy's broken. I don't know how the heck he broke all the way up there. And this guy. Wow. Yikes. So this was the same spot I was standing in at the start of the video. So you can see how much of the bottom I took off, like I said I was going to. And here you get a better look at what I left. And I'm telling you, the branches that are the strongest, that are still standing straight up, I assume are good. But this is what I did, is I took off a lot of this off the bottom here. Well, I call it the bottom, but see, you see, it showed you here, and that still has some green on it. This stem, definitely brown. So this is what this side looks like. So it's basically almost turning into what would look like a younger tree, if you can imagine it shorter. When you first buy these trees, most of the stems are upright and it's not so bushy. That's almost what this is looking like now. Now there's still some brown leaves up there on certain stems, but I'm just leaving this for now. I already did a lot, and all I can do now is see what happens. There's not much else you can do. So like I said, I've had yellow leaves in the past. I've never had the situation though where I've had such browning on the flowers. And this bed's on a sprinkler, by the way, so this isn't like it doesn't get watered. Now we don't have it on an automatic sprinkler because I don't like to waste water. So when we have droughts, we will water this bed. But we've had so much rain this summer, we actually haven't had to use our sprinkler system for the front or back gardens that much at all this summer. But this plant never really dried out, but it did get baked by the sun. I mean, we had heat indices of over 100, which is just bizarre for this area, but I guess it's becoming the new normal. So we'll see if I still get some hydrangeas turning pink. If you look down at this pretty guy that I left, he's got a little bit of pink right here on the top. You see that? So here's another shot that shows you there are some flowers that are doing well. And then I've got to show you, this is everything I took off. So here's the pile. And then that, again, I said was a river birch tree. We had pruned one of the trees in front already. We still have to do the other one. And then all of it goes in the wood chipper. And then it makes a nice little mulch you can put right back in the garden or in your compost pile. So it's a really good thing to do. So yeah, this tree definitely looks different than when I started, but it still has some nice fullness on top. What's making it look so strange right now is you mostly just see flowers and not too many leaves. So hopefully we'll get some leaf growth at least once the temperatures cool down a little bit this fall, at least have it rebound a tiny bit. I will definitely keep you posted. In the meantime, watch this playlist if you're interested in how to prune your Limelight hydrangea, what to do if you get extreme drooping stems from rain, what to do when you have a damaged branch. I've got all kinds of good videos on this tree. Until next time, happy gardening.